Netanyahu is essentially not even, or what's happening here. We know the partner. We know the dynamics of negotiation. What's going on here is that Netanyahu feels so confident that he's already addressing all of Israel's achievements at Hamas's expense, and even announces. Anyway, let's start with Greta Thunberg, who apparently was beaten, forced to kiss the Israeli flag after the flotilla interception, activists claim. This guy's Turkish, by the way. He says all of those politicians, all of them tried to treat us like insects. And they treat everyone like this. But they tortured Greta the most. They tortured Greta.
Onu süründürdüler, İsrail bayrağını öptürdüler. Yani Naziler ne yaptıysa aynısını yaptılar.
He says they made her crawl on the floor and kiss the Israeli flag. That's what this activist is claiming. Yeah, but this is Ersin Çelik. He's a pro-Erdogan weirdo. We have to wait for more details. Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know his personal politics. Do I think Israel's capable of such tremendous cruelty? Absolutely. Okay, especially to a person that they have designed as like a high-profile villain for Israeli society. Itamar Ben-Gvir was there. He was calling them to their faces. So I could see it. But once again, not exactly. This isn't like full-blown evidence yet. So we'll have to see what kind of media reports come out of this. Israel accused of detaining Greta Thunberg in an infested cell and making her hold flags. Activists tell Swedish officials she has been subject. Okay, so these are other activists who were also there saying similar things. So that there's some corroborating evidence here, corroborating eyewitness testimony. That would be an optics nightmare, though. They have to know not to do that. Dog, you know what's an optics nightmare? What are you talking about? You know what's an optics nightmare? Consistently apprehending and intercepting humanitarian aid flotillas comprised of European politicians and activists from 46 nations. Israel does not give up. If there's anything that you can be assured of, Israel will do anything and everything that's insane. Bro, they blew up the boat. They tried to drone strike the boat off the coast of Tunisia. What are we talking about? The two flotillas prior to this one, they intercepted it and blew it up off the coast of Malta, thousands of miles away from the Israeli shoreline, on international waters. And not even on international waters, off the coast of Malta. It's simple. This is why accountability matters, okay? If you let Israel do whatever the fuck it wants without ever saying, hey, man, maybe you should stop, or forcing them to dial it back, of course they're going to up the ante. This is why I'm saying, if left unchecked, Israel will eventually start murking people in Europe, okay? And then maybe even America. Who knows? This is what I mean. I know. I'm just going off propaganda video with Greta specifically where they had her on a jet to counter the claim that she was kidnapped. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the exact details. I'm just saying that, like, this is not... If you asked me if Israel would do something like this 2 years ago, I would have said maybe it's not... maybe that's a bit far-fetched. What are you drinking? Water. Le Neuve. Boxed water. Bourgeois water? Is it? I don't know. Un minéral naturel de montagne. The environmental campaigner Greta Thunberg has told Swedish officials she's being subjected to harsh treatment in Israeli custody after her detention and removal from flotilla carrying aid to Gaza, according to correspondence seen by The Guardian. According to correspondence, Israeli forces also reported by another detainee to have taken photographs while Thunberg was allegedly forced to hold flags. The identity of the flags are unknown. In an email sent by the Swedish Foreign Ministry to people close to Thunberg and seen by The Guardian, an official who has visited the activist in prison says she claimed she was detained in a cell infested with bed bugs with too little food and water. Okay, but if an official visited the activist in prison and she didn't tell him that they made her kiss the Israeli flag, I don't know. They made her hold the ISIS flag? I could totally see that. The embassy has been able to meet with Greta, reads the email. She informed of dehydration. She has received insufficient amounts of both water and food. She also stated that she developed rashes which suspect were caused by bed bugs. She spoke of harsh treatment and she said she had been sitting for long periods on hard surfaces. Another detainee reportedly told another embassy that they had seen her being forced to hold flags while pictures were being taken. She wondered whether images of her had been distributed. The allegation was corroborated by at least two other members of the flotilla who had been detained by Israeli forces and released on Saturday. They dragged little Greta Thunberg by her hair before our eyes. This is Ersin Çelik, a participant in the Samud flotilla. Lorenzo D'Agostino, a journalist and another flotilla participant, said after returning to Istanbul that Thunberg was wrapped in the Israeli flag and paraded like a trophy, a scene described with disbelief and anger by those who witnessed it. Thunberg is among 437 activists, parliamentarians, and lawyers who are part of the Global Summit Flotilla, a coalition of more than 40 vessels carrying humanitarian aid whose goal was to breach Israel's 16-year maritime blockade of Gaza. Between Thursday and Friday, Israeli forces intercepted all the boats and arrested every crew member on board. Most of them are being held at Ketziot, also known as Ansar 3, a high-security prison in the Negev desert, used primarily to detain Palestinian security prisoners, many of whom Israel accused of involvement in militant or activities. In the past, activists detained by Israel were not criminally prosecuted, and instead their presence was treated as an immigration matter. According to lawyers from the NGO Adala, the rights of the crew members have been systematically violated, reporting that activists were denied water, sanitation, medication, and immediate access to legal representatives in a clear breach of their fundamental rights to due process, impartial trial, and legal representation. This is why I respect the Summit Flotilla so much. Like, they are straight up putting their bodies on the line. Like, they're saying it. Like, you know, no matter what Israel does, like, we want to show their depravity to the rest of the world by putting ourselves on the line of fire in the direct crosshairs. Yeah, Hasan Piker, Quentin Quarantino is also captured with Greta as well. American citizen, by the way, who is Jewish, a member of this community for many years. I've talked about it before. He came up to me at the ICE rally, if you remember, and he said, Quentin Quarantino, not Quentin Tarantino. Okay, calm down. Quentin Quarantino. He has an Instagram account. He has like a meme profile on Instagram. Not the director Quentin Tarantino. He's in Israel too, the director, but he's pro-Israel. He lives in Israel. So Quentin Quarantino initially, and he talked about this, I think, on the stream as well, if you remember. He came up to me at the ICE protest. He was like, "Hey man, like, I'm Jewish, and initially I was one of those people who thought you were like, I was a fan of yours for years, and after October 7th, I thought you were, like, you know, being far too harsh on Israel. I thought that you were being anti-Semitic, and I learned over the course of the past couple of years that that's not the case at all. Like, I changed my mind on this. So it's important to be kind to people, okay? It's very important. We must remain steadfast in our advocacy, no matter what people say. Oh, not Quentin Tarantino catching strays? He deserves to catch something else, okay? Crabs. What do you mean Quentin Tarantino catching strays? I used to love Quentin Tarantino, okay? He is a major Zionist. Him. Okay, but wouldn't optics matter more now that the tides are turning against Israel? I don't think Israel cares or understands that the tide is turning, or even if they do understand the tides are turning, they think they can just, like, buy TikTok and get out of it. They're wrong. Anyway, so as we covered yesterday, Donald Trump came out after Hamas accepted the peace proposal that, or at least, like, the conditions on the peace proposal that they had conceded to prior, and came out and accepted it. At least, like I said, the parts that they had conceded to in the peace proposal prior. And Donald Trump liked it. To my shock, to my surprise, Donald Trump liked that they were okay. And as I tweeted, Donald Trump revealed this statement after. He said, based on the Hamas statement just issued by Hamas, I believe they are ready for a lasting peace. Israel must immediately stop of Gaza so that we can get the hostages out safely and quickly. Right now, it's far too dangerous to do that. We are already in discussions on details to be worked out. This is not about Gaza alone. This is about long-sought peace in the Middle East. Israel, of course, did not stop Gaza. What is this? Adios? Oh, yeah, the Charlie Kirk tracker. Trump tracker says adios. Exactly. I told you it was gonna go away. And they went so heavy-handed with it, too. Anyway, then Donald Trump went and said, I appreciate that Israel has temporarily stopped them in order to give the hostage release a day later, 18 hours later. What reason do we have to think this isn't just the same thing as a Qatar strike? Trump's response so far, and I don't know. I don't trust Donald Trump. Until this is done, I will not be trusting Donald Trump. Okay? Wait, hold on. Oh shit, my food is here. But having said that, this is where we're at. Netanyahu instructs military to halt all offensive operations in Gaza. They haven't yet, so we'll see.
The stunning turn of events. This morning, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu instructing the military to halt all offensive operations in Gaza. That's according to two Israeli sources familiar with the matter. Only defensive measures are now permitted. And that order came after President Trump called on Israel to halt the of Gaza, claiming that Hamas is ready for lasting peace. But this process really began with the militants responding to the president's 20-point peace plan, but with notable reservations, saying they're ready to release all hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners, quotes, provided field conditions are met. They say they want more negotiations on several parts of Trump's plan. That could happen soon. But there's no mention of disbanding or disarming, as President Trump and Israel have both been firmly demanding. The militants also agreeing to hand over power to an independent Palestinian body when Trump's peace plan envisages an international group taking control. But I think despite the many doubts and many unanswered questions, this does appear to be a critical moment after almost 2 years of war in which tens of thousands of Palestinians have been. Indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas now expected to take place in Egypt. That could happen as soon as tomorrow. But we still need to be cautious. There are reports of Israeli strikes in Gaza this morning, and it remains to be seen whether this fragile truce will actually lead to an end to the suffering in Gaza and an end to the long nightmare for the hostages and their families. Janae?
Fragile is a good way to describe it. Ian, thank you for your reporting.
Hope during this coming festival of the Tabernacles, we will bring all the hostages home, those who are alive and those who have passed away, and the IDF will remain in the depth of the Gaza Strip. At the beginning of the war, one of our officials said, "We doubt if we'll be able to bring even one hostage alive back." Well, look, there are those who claim that we wouldn't be able to bring them all back without completely withdrawing from the Gaza Strip. I believe differently and I acted differently, but thanks to these determined decisions that I led with the government and our brave soldiers who fought, we have brought back 207 hostages, but I never gave up on the others, nor achieving the other objectives of the war. And when I spoke directly to the families, we said we have never, ever forgotten you throughout this war. We met with the families throughout the war. We saw their pain. We heard their suffering. We share their prayers that soon they will embrace all their dearly beloved friends, families, and we will be able to bring them back for burial, and the others will be able to embrace. It was the most important for us to enter the stronghold of the Hamas in Gaza, and we coordinated with President Trump that...
We're back. It happened. The same thing happened as it did yesterday. I don't know why, but I got kicked off. Luckily, I was like, no, I didn't unplug anything. I don't know why. This is just the second time it happened. This happened yesterday as well, randomly. It's not the hotel Wi-Fi. No. It's something different. It might be like a firewall or something. Hold on, I gotta pee.
All our hostages
God damn it.
and the IDF will deploy themselves in a way that they will be able to control all those areas that the Hamas are in control of. People said, oh, Hamas were willing a year ago or more to release them all without us withdrawing fully from the Gaza Strip. Well, that was a lie. What brought this change in their stand was only the military pressure and the political pressure that we wielded upon them. But thanks to the bravery of our soldiers and everyone's work here, we managed to withstand all the pressure that was wielded upon us. Had we not done that, we would have left Gaza without barely any achievement. We wouldn't have been able to take over the Philadelphia axis. We would have, yes, managed to actually bring to the end of Def and everyone else. But above all, we would not have actually removed and eradicated that nuclear threat against the state of Israel. It was a historic achievement that will be written down in the annals of history. My dear friend, President Trump, I must thank you, who helped us by sending the B-2 airplane.
This is, I'm gonna head out. This is interesting. This means that, I mean, it means that this seems like a concession speech. I mean, he said it comes across like a victory speech, but that is, yeah, he's trying to deliver a victory speech, as in there is a finality with this. Do you understand? Of course, he has to sell it. Of course, he has to sell it to the Israeli public like he got all of his wishes across. But this is, I don't know. This is very, very different than prior instances where he was told it's over, or where he was told, like, oh, ceasefire time. In the past, when he was told it's ceasefire time, he was like, fuck no, it's not. This right here is him basically trying to tell the Israeli public, like, guys, we got all of our wishes across. We did it. Mission accomplished. This is actually, I'm not gonna lie, this is unique. Amit Segal says, this is strange. What bothers me most about the speech is that Netanyahu's absolute certainty that the deal is going to happen. He said the most astonishing thing. To all those who say it's too good to be true is true. Netanyahu is essentially not even leaving any room for something to go wrong in Cairo. Netanyahu is essentially not even, or what's happening here. We know the partner. We know the dynamics of negotiation. What's going on here is that Netanyahu feels so confident that he's already addressing all of Israel's achievements at Hamas's expense, and even announces, as per Netanyahu's optimism, what the fuck is this thing? Hold on. Let me get all this shit out first. What's going on here that Netanyahu feels so confident he's also addressing all of Israel's achievements at Hamas's expense, even announces, because per Netanyahu's optimism, by the end of Sukkot, all hostages will be released, that after Hamas releases all the hostages, it will also be disarmed either through military or diplomatic means. Something here seems very strange to me, and I'm not sure it's right for the Israeli prime minister to get up and say this is guaranteed even before getting into details of how to implement it. I mean, it's obvious that he is trying to say, like, you know, we're done. And he's not going to say we're done and we lost. He's going to say we're done and we achieved all of our military objectives. What's interesting here is that he's saying we're done rather than saying we're not done. Because in the past, ceasefire deals have been presented, and he has turned around and said, we're not done. Of course, there's no real ceasefire. We're going to keep bombing. Don't worry. He even said that after his White House meeting, if you remember. He said that, but he's not saying that right now.
And his steadfast stand and help, and he bombed the nuclear facilities. And we would not have been able to achieve that. People said it was too good to be true. Well, I'm telling you, it is true. It really is true. And with the help of God, it'll help, and it will happen very soon. I have guided the negotiation team under the auspices of Dermer to really make this negotiation only last for a few days. And you heard that President Trump, he is not going to suffer any of those sort of delays on the part of Hamas. And we said that the Hamas will be disarmed and there will be a demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. It'll be done either by us or in a political way, either in the easy way or in the hard way, but it will be achieved. I would like to thank all the security forces and the IDF. You are heroes. I salute you. I embrace all the bereaved families who sacrificed, those who they cherish the most, and all those who suffered so much and sacrificed themselves. And all are wounded. I wish you health. But it is thanks to all of you, and you also, the citizens of the State of Israel, who have been so resilient and stood steadfastly in such tough days, while we were destroying our enemies from Yemen, if we're talking about in the Hezbollah and the Hamas, from one victory to the other, together we are changing the face of the Middle East, and we will continue working in such a way till the eternity of the state of Israel. It says in the Bible that, yes, if we continue thus, then we will be strong and steadfast.
So the words there of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, short, certainly, and an hour and a quarter late. He said to the families, "We have never, ever forgotten you. We share their prayers. They will soon embrace their family members." He said Hamas will release all our hostages. He thanked President Trump and said President Trump won't suffer Hamas delays. Also mentioned America's bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities. He said the demilitarization of Gaza will happen. I salute all the brave families. Thank you to those wounded in the war. And finally, he thanked the Israeli citizens as well. Well, our Middle East correspondent, Adam Parsons, is in Jerusalem. We waited a long time, Adam, to hear from the Prime Minister. He had little to say, but I felt it sounded, perhaps prematurely, like a victory speech.
Yeah, it's this whole process, Jonathan. There's a certain element of the Donald Trump about this, isn't there? That he sounds optimistic. He sounds as if this is all terrific news and that he's done wonderfully well. But actually, I was looking for firm details in this, and they're relatively few and far between. So he talked about telling his team, led by Ron Dermer, who's the Minister for Strategic Affairs, that negotiations should continue, but that they should only last for a few days. So in other words, rather like Donald Trump, he's saying we need to focus, we need to get on with this, we can't let this drag on. He said that Hamas will be disarmed and demilitarized, and this could either happen in the easy way or the hard way, but it's not really clear what he meant by the easy way, other than one assumes through negotiation. And he sounded very, very confident about saying that all the hostages would be returned. But in those sort of thorny issues...
I got it, Chatter. You're funny, okay? Funny bit, dude.
About what concessions he was going to make and how he was possibly going to satisfy the angry members of his cabinet. Of that, there was no detail at all. So, yes, the way he framed it was as a very victorious, upbeat speech, one in which he thanked his population, in which he talked rather solemnly about the requirement to bring back hostages and to give burials to those who were coming back dead. But in details at the moment, they are few, other than the fact that quite clearly negotiations, intense negotiations, are going to take place in the coming days.
So the big question, Adam, I guess, is how much further forward are we? There's no deadline as such, is there?
No, and to be blunt, I don't really think there ever was a deadline. I know Donald Trump says there was, but I was never able to find out what breaching that deadline would even mean, because when he said, well, I've given Hamas this deadline, it's like, well, if they miss it, what's going to happen? What, Israel's going to attack? Well, they already are. So it wasn't clear what that deadline ever meant. There's a Sukkot holiday coming up. Very clearly, the anniversary of the October the 7th attacks is approaching. I suspect everybody would like to come up with a deal that coincides.
My friend invited me to go to the Birthright Israel trip program. What are your thoughts on the program itself? Are you insane? Your goal should be to try to get your friend to stop from going to fucking Birthright. Dude, we're talking about a Nazi country doing a fucking Holocaust, and you're like, should I go to the brainwashing free trip where the entire purpose is so I meet like an IDF wife and then live in Israel permanently and play a role in the fucking fascist settler colonial project? Tell your friend the moral stain will live on forever. I think for people like that, because like they're obviously, they're brain broken already, but for a person like that, the best possible thing you can do is explain to them how much everybody fucking hates Israel. And that being associated with Israel like that, especially because it's like very clearly designed for propaganda purposes, so that it can instill loyalty in the mind of your friend. Like they are volunteering to be fucking brainwashed and be forever associated with a country that is despised by the rest of the fucking planet. Like it's not even just like brainwashing tactics or whatever. You're just volunteering to associate with a dying brand. Okay? You know what I mean? Like there was never a good point to go to Birthright. There was never a good moment to go on Birthright. But there is definitely the worst moment to go on Birthright. And today is the worst moment to go on Birthright. You know what I mean? It's like guy who joined the call to arms from Nazi Germany in like 1942. Because Nazi Germany, just like Israel, did a return. Did a demand for return for all Germanic peoples. I forget what it was called, but there's a term for it. Yeah, it was in Band of Brothers. Yeah, Lieutenant Spears just fucking murks him. I'm not Zurück ins Reich. Well, what's the English version? Volk Deutsche, is that what it is? Volk Deutsche. And plenty of there were definitely Americans of German descent that took on this call and returned to the fatherland, right? And they got fucking murked. But what's even crazier is to do that call to the fatherland when it's obvious that Nazi Germany is about to be defeated.
With October the 7th. But in terms of any pressing deadline, I don't feel that there necessarily is one, other than the fact that clearly Hamas is a degraded fighting force. The tension in the Arab world has been high ever since Israel attacked Qatar to try to get to the Hamas leadership. There just is a feeling that everybody finally would like a deal and that both sides recognize that the other one has to concede something. All that is left is for those two sides, Hamas and Israel, to realize that they too are going to have to concede something, that we're going to have to end up with a deal where both, if not all three sides, including America, feels it isn't perfect, but it is somehow politically palatable. And how we get to that point and what that deal might look like in terms of Palestinian self-determination is still difficult to grasp.
Hamas says it is ready to begin negotiations immediately to finalize all outstanding issues under President Trump's Gaza peace plan. Yesterday, the U.S. designated terrorist group said it would release all of the remaining October 7th hostages, but Hamas did not address other elements.
Dude, why are there so many fucking weirdos in here, man? Brother, what is going on? Why do you keep demanding that I run ads? Why are there so many fucking... The Hasan Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers, and nothing else. We don't run ads on the Hasan Piker Broadcast Service. Okay? It's Dan Clancy on it all.
In Trump's 20-point proposal, like exile and giving up their weapons. The president spoke from the Oval Office yesterday to thank the countries that helped put the deal together. He said they're very close to achieving peace in the Middle East. Earlier, he had warned that Hamas had until Sunday evening to agree to the deal or face, quote, all hell. Deborah Pata is in East Jerusalem with the very latest. Deborah, good morning.
Good morning. Well, despite a qualified response from Hamas to his peace proposal, President Trump has welcomed it and immediately ordered Israel to stop.
A U.S. official said Trump spoke with Erdogan on Friday before Hamas' response, asking him to ensure the movement would not reject the plan. The official added, Trump told him, I've done a lot for you, and now I need you to do this for me. Bibi went too far in Gaza, and Israel has lost a lot of global support. Now I will bring all that support back to them. These guys are out of their fucking minds if they think they can just, like, bring the support back to Israel somehow.
Gaza overnight, saying Hamas is ready for a lasting peace.
This is the closest Israel and Hamas have come to making a deal to end the war since it began nearly 2 years ago.
This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down in concrete. Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East, and we're very close to achieving that.
Hamas says it is ready to release all the remaining hostages, living and dead, in exchange for Palestinian prisoners, and has agreed to surrender governing power in Gaza. But it wants further negotiations on some of the terms of the proposal and made no mention of laying down its arms, a key demand of the deal. Israelis are daring to hope once more.
I hope this will bring peace for Palestinians, for Israelis, and no more war, and the hostages back home.
I really hope that this war will end and we'll start living again.
And in Gaza, there was overwhelming relief from Palestinians who have endured nearly 2 years of a punishing war that's left more than 66,000 people dead. I hope the bloodbath stops, this man said. That's the most important thing. Every day we are dying 1,000 times. We're exhausted after 2 years, another man said. There's nothing left. We've suffered so much and paid a terrible price. Reported incidents of Israeli fire overnight, but for the first time in a very long time, the guns were silent in most parts of Gaza.
Now, there are still some murky areas that need thrashing out in the proposed deal, but both Israel and Hamas have indicated they are ready to talk, and negotiations around the logistics of releasing hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners could begin as early as tomorrow. Michelle?
Deborah, thank you.
After nearly 2 years to the day of grinding war, there is at least a reason to celebrate. When news spread that Hamas had conditionally accepted the Trump plan, people took to the streets. The hope is that the bloodshed will soon be over. Overnight, explosions were seen across the Strip, but the Israeli military has reportedly moved to a defensive posture after Donald Trump.
This shit is so disingenuous too. Oh, they're disingenuously blowing it up. For the record, once again, always had this power and still does to this day. One phone call. Contrary to what was reported overnight, coordination between Trump and Netanyahu is complete. They spoke before publishing the statement. The prime minister was not surprised, says Wynette. I lean towards, yes, these fake rifts have been a constant tactic to mask how coordinated they are on everything. And Barack Ravid also helped spread those fake stories in the past, as he's doing now. I'm still worried. I am still worried. Because yes, Donald Trump does have the capacity to stop Israel with a phone call. And yet Donald Trump has only used that phone call to further scheme with Israel over and over again. But the only difference here is that Benjamin Netanyahu isn't speaking like he's going to continue the bombing campaign, but instead started talking about victory. And that has a finality to it. Okay? Just dropped on the negotiations. After negotiations, Israel's agreed to the initial withdrawal line, which we have shown to ensure with Hamas. When Hamas confirms the ceasefire will be immediately effective, the hostage and prisoner exchange will begin, and we will create the conditions for the next phase of the withdrawal, which will bring us close to the end of this 3,000-year catastrophe. Thank you for the attention to this matter. Stay tuned. What is the worst case here? 3,000 years, by the way. Oh God, these guys are so fucking stupid. Worst case is that this is yet another scheme and they're faking it. And they're going to take out the hostages because it's been like somewhat of a political hurdle for Netanyahu and Israel, I guess. And then they're going to immediately keep bombing and implement the Rafah concentration camp, ethnic cleansing campaign. That's the worst case. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. You asked me what the worst case scenario is. That's the worst case.
Commanded the bombing to stop. In this busy market, there was cautious optimism that a ceasefire at least would take hold.
We want this war to end and for Hamas to agree to end it. It's over. We're exhausted. It's time for peace.
Our greatest hope is to return to our homes, our work, and our normal lives. We pray that God brings us goodness and allows people to live once again the natural, peaceful lives we once had.
And in Israel, families of those being held captive were also hopeful their loved ones would soon be coming home. There have been protests here over the government's approach since the war began. This is clearly a significant moment. The diplomacy that started here in the Oval Office at the beginning of the week with the announcement that a deal was in reach is gathering momentum. And less than an hour after Hamas had tacitly accepted, Donald Trump had released a video talking up his deal and stressing that all sides would be treated fairly.
This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down in concrete. Very importantly, I look forward to having the hostages come home to their parents.
The reaction on the Israeli side has been cautious. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office saying that Israel is preparing for the immediate implementation of the first stage of the plan. There is, though, still much that could go wrong. Hamas's acceptance is conditional and subject to further negotiations. Any release of the hostages and a stopping of the violence is likely days away. The expectation now is that new indirect talks will take place imminently in Egypt. The war in Gaza has caused enormous suffering, but at last the world may be witnessing it reaching its end point. The Trump plan envisages a comprehensive peace in the Middle East. Whilst that may remain elusive, a ceasefire and the release of the hostages does appear to be within reach. Alex Rossi, Sky News, Jerusalem.
In a world of misery, welcome to a land of plenty. Fresh food, fancy villas, luxury cars. All this bling and excess is being flaunted on social media by an Israeli-backed militia based in southern Gaza. So where does all this money come from? Meet Yasser Abu Shabab, a Palestinian fugitive who heads the Popular Forces, an armed group in Gaza that...
Bro, media's playing catch-up months after the fact. It's crazy. Are you going to watch? Have you already seen One Battle After Another? Great movie despite Leo DiCaprio's unsavory ties, including his new hotel in Israel. Yes, I haven't watched it yet, but I plan on watching it. What is this? Kirsty Noem says ICE was attacked by a coordinated assault in Chicago and wants to send troops. Oh, God. All right, we'll get to that in a little bit. But what is this? Bill Maher and his atheist liberal crowd are just racist? Here's a sharp takedown by Ben Affleck exposing them. What do you mean? This is an old-ass video. That's why I love Ben Affleck. Anyway. Salisbury wrote that Vice President J.D. Vance wanted to pursue criminal charges against two Florida influencers who were preaching violence on social media. The messages did not specify the identities of the pair and said prosecutors had declined one of the cases. Hasan, right now, no, I don't think it's fucking appropriate for J.D. Vance to prosecute Destiny for speech, okay? What are you guys, stupid? If they want to prosecute him for, like, CSAM, that's fine. That's totally appropriate, okay? Having CSAM on his computer, I'm there with you every day. Okay, trying to fucking prosecute him because you don't like what he's saying is insane. I'm not stupid enough, like fucking Destiny and Dan Saltman were, to advocate for such a thing. It is ironic, however, that they wanted this to happen to me for years, and it's like seemingly happening to him. Or it's probably not going to happen, but like seemingly it almost happened to him. What is this? There's a new signal leak. Anyway, listen, let's just let's finish this Abu Shabab story first.
Houses Hamas. Experts say
this may be part of that. Might have doctored evidence he gave to the court. Anyway. Let's get back to the militia group opposing Hamas.
Israel is bolstering.
Would you consider yourself relevant in the grand scheme of things? No, I would not. Okay, we're moving on.
Local groups like this to divide and conquer, to create disunity among the Palestinians and to maintain some control in Gaza, whatever its future. The story of Abu Shabab starts here, his compound seemingly untouched by the war that's raged for 2 years. This video, also taken from the compound, shows the surrounding area of Rafah,
now reduced
Wait, hold on. Let me run that back real quick. Hold on.
future. The story of Abu Shabab starts here, his compound seemingly untouched by the war that's raged for 2 years.
I wonder why. Interesting. Every fucking building has been hollowed out in Gaza, except this remains untouched. In an area that is considered a red zone by Israel, as a matter of fact. I wonder what this is about. Why is Sky News covering this like 8 months after everybody else covered? I don't know.
This video, also taken from the compound, shows the surrounding area of Rafah, now reduced to rubble and entirely controlled by the Israeli military. It was shot here, on the edge of Abu Shabab's camp. To the east is the Morag Corridor, a major artery for IDF movements. To its north is the Salah al-Din Road, the main route for the movement of aid trucks via the Kerem Shalom crossing. And that has become the main entry point for all aid since the Israeli military took control of Rafah in May 2024. So what do popular forces want? In an exclusive interview with Sky News, a founding member of the group revealed they want total control of Gaza.
Everything. We want to run everything. Everything that concerns our Palestinian people and what will benefit the Palestinian people.
What we've been told is that many goods coming through here end up in the hands of Abu Shabab and his popular forces group, including weapons, luxury items, and a slice of aid. These boxes filmed at Abu Shabab's camp.
It's crazy because like they literally are doing what Israel has accused Hamas of doing, except they're doing it with Israel's permission, okay? That's what's so fucking crazy about it. Hamas 2.0 created by Israel? No, this is not Hamas 2.0. Are you kidding me? This is ISIS. No, it's not Hamas 2.0, chatters. The fuck are you talking about? These guys work with Israel, okay? Directly. Wake up. Hamas is comprised of the Palestinian population, and regardless of their tactics or regardless of their targets, it's very obvious that their overall ambition revolves not around complete domination of the Palestinian population, but instead emancipatory goals, an end to the occupation. That is precisely the reason why they were able to bring together the entirety of the Palestinian resistance movement and has kept it together throughout the entire genocide. This, on the other hand, are collaborators with Israel, who are everything that Israel has said Hamas is, whether it be its associations with ISIS. Israel's claim Hamas is ISIS. These guys literally are ISIS affiliates, ISIS associates. Hasan, why do you still stream in Israel? What? Do you think I have the capacity to fucking region block Israel? Also, is that an argument that you're trying to make towards the Lord thing? Is that what you're saying? Lord makes music. Okay? Lord's entire output. You say people should follow Lord's lead. I would region block Israel if I could. Okay? That's number one. Number two, you own Twitch, little bro? Oh God, dude. I'm fucking listening to the dumbest people. Lord makes music that people enjoy. I do commentary. I do anti-Zionist commentary. Okay? It's a little different than, preventing my voice from being heard in Israel, as opposed to artists that are engaging in a cultural boycott, which, by the way, I wouldn't even mind if there was some kind of Twitch boycott as well for Israel. Even if, obviously, it'd be better served if everyone in Israel was listening to what I had to say as it pertains to the genocide. It would be a very sad day probably for the 12 Israeli Hasanabi heads. You are constantly contradicting yourself. You are the king of contradictions yourself. Contradicting yourself. Oh, we talked about the fucking pedophile sex pest. I was wondering what's going on. This is another part of the reason why I usually don't like covering sex pestiny, because instantly his dumb fuck rats come in and start chirping. What's really funny about it is that, like, at least I would say like 4 years ago or whatever, he had more sophisticated fans. Like, they were still not the most intelligent, but they, like, I think the quality of the quality of the hater has diminished over time. Because I think at least like those who were major fans of his that were somewhat intelligent have already jumped ship by now. Now I can't even tell if this is like an Ethan Klein fan or a Rape Tone fan. Now you just have haters that don't mind being associated with a pedo. I mean, which one are we talking about?
With the logo of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, a venture set up by Israel and America to distribute aid to Gazans. In a statement, GHF said, GHF is proud to serve communities throughout Gaza via our community distribution program. We believe
It's not just Lord, it's 1,000 plus artists with many big names. No, that's awesome. 1,000 plus artists and label boycotters. Oh shit, Mark Raybillet. Paramore. Okay, I'm never gonna finish this fucking video.
Gazan deserves to be fed with dignity, including those in areas controlled by the popular forces. This is Sami, an Israeli soldier who serves at the Kerem Shalom crossing. He spoke on condition of anonymity.
The thing is that we're against Hamas and they're against Hamas. Israel started giving him things to help him. It was cars, vehicles, weapons, food, money.
A senior leader of the popular forces claimed in our interview that for any of these supplies to enter Gaza, a request had to be made to the Palestinian Authority and various other Arab states, and then passed on to a coordinating body that liaises directly with Israel. We asked for responses to those claims but received no reply, and Sky could not independently verify them. The IDF commander we spoke to told us the Popular Forces members now number up to 3,000 men across Gaza.
That's not true.
We approached Popular Forces for comment but received no reply, and Sky News was not able to independently verify these claims. The IDF commander we spoke to told us the Popular Forces members now number up to 3,000 men across Gaza. Sky News was not able to independently verify.
The reasons that Israel has been using these proxies, which I have not mentioned, is to mask its legal responsibility and to be able to say it was not us that was doing the crime, but al-Shabaab.
The IDF told us it would not comment on our claims. Blasts, bombs and bullets have turned Gaza into a chaotic land of fear and uncertainty. Abu Shabab and the Popular Forces think they are the people to restore order here, with Israel's help. Adam Parsons, Sky News, Jerusalem.
Estem assistint a un genocidi en viu i en directe on milers de nens I nenes ja han
Flood the streets. Pep Guardiola gives a call for people to join a Palestine protest. He's Spanish, not Italian. Sorry. Is that Stanley Tucci? No. Yeah, he's a football coach. Can't believe I have to give this boob a fuck ton of credit. He's Catalan. He's Catalonian. That's why he has a weird name. His daughter is a big reason why he's speaking out like this. She's always been pro-Palestine since like 2021, from what I saw. Isn't she like a human rights lawyer or something? His daughter?
D'altres poden encara morir. La franja de Gaza està devastada I riades de gent camina sense rumb, sense aliments, aigua potable ni medicines. Només la societat civil organitzada pot salvar vides I pressionar els governs perquè actuïn d'una vegada. El 4 d'octubre, a les 12 hores.
Yeah, this is literally... someone said, would he get deported if he did this in America? Yes. If he didn't have citizenship and he was like coaching a team in America, yes, he would. And he would even get criminally prosecuted probably for trying to cause a riot if he were to do this. If he did a mass call to action in America in a similar fashion.
A Jardinets de Gràcia inundarem els carrers per exigir la fi del genocidi.
The pleas not to put additional pressure on London's police force went unheeded. In the heart of London, in Trafalgar Square, 70% of the Met's public order officers were deployed to a demonstration in support of the banned group Palestine Action. Organisers had refused to cancel the event.
The head of the Metropolitan Police has said that holding this demonstration today is stretching resources across London. Officers here who could be deployed outside, for example, synagogues or mosques where people are feeling vulnerable in the wake of the Manchester attacks.
There had been calls not only from the police but also the Prime Minister to postpone the demonstration.
Did you think twice about coming?
Not at all,
Why not?
because this is an important issue.
One of the organisers, retired financial consultant Margie Mansfield, turned up with a bag, expecting to be arrested for supporting a banned organisation.
I know you support Gaza, but do you feel a wider social responsibility to communities in Britain?
Absolutely. I support the rights of the people in the UK, and I support the rights of the people of the UK to care for all
But you are
humanity.
stretching police resources by coming.
That's not my choice, that's the police's choice.
It's your choice to be here.
My choice to be here. It's their choice to police in whichever way they see fit.
A sit-down quickly turned to arrests, with protesters encircled and those who refused to walk in some cases carried by officers. Demonstrations, though, resolute about their reasons for being detained.
The Jewish community have said people are tone deaf.
There's something so funny about British police being like, hey guys, we could be doing something more important like protecting synagogues, which is true, okay, instead of you guys forcing our hands to arrest you for literally a reason that we all understand is bullshit. Okay, go protect the Jewish community then. What the fuck do you mean? Like, there is nothing funnier than the cops being like, listen, we could be protecting the Jewish community by placing our officers outside of synagogues, and instead we are choosing to protect the Jewish community by arresting 84-year-old pensioners for holding up a placard. Like, what are you saying? Yeah, that's the point. Go do the thing. Go do the other thing, dumbass. What the fuck? Literally, no one thinks you should be doing this. I don't even think you think this is the appropriate response. Like, who in the UK is like, no, this is a great idea. We should keep doing this. Like, why are you making me arrest you? Why can't you just stop? Fucking awesome. And it's great. Like, I thought this was also, this is protecting the Jewish community as well. Okay? This is just as important as putting cops outside of synagogues. This is how we protect the Jewish community, by arresting Jews, by the way. Like, in some of these instances, the people that are arresting are Jews themselves, too.
For holding demonstrations so soon after the Manchester attack.
But there's not a genocide taking place in there. If there was, I'd be on. All your money, I've got in your bag. Yeah. That's okay. Sorry, I'll have to continue being arrested.
As police stepped up their presence around...
Dude, that's crazy. Dude, British media are demons, dog. You will never convince me that they're human beings that are doing this, okay? Like, you are a straightforward demon. You got an old-ass motherfucker getting arrested on the ground, okay? And your question is, don't you think this is an inappropriate time to be protesting genocide? Like, he's in the process of getting arrested.
Have said people are tone deaf for holding demonstrations so soon after the Manchester attack.
But there's not a genocide taking place in there. If there was, I'd be on. Okay. That's okay. Sorry, I'll have to continue being arrested.
As police stepped up their presence around synagogues, the policing minister defended the mass arrests in central London.
The Prime Minister had urged people to just take a moment this weekend to remember those people who've lost their lives in the terror attack. And some people, I think, have paid attention to what's been said, others haven't.
It's been a challenging day for London's police force, with supporters of the banned group Palestine Action pledging to continue their protests. Lisa Holland, Sky News, Central London.
I can't believe it. Watch this insane clip from the courtesy of Greenpeace UK. Just look at the double standard. In the UK, you can openly cheer for the killing of babies and say they support genocide. But if anyone dares to support Palestine action against genocide and say stop killing children, they'll be arrested on the spot.
Arrest me for supporting a genocide? Will you arrest me for supporting a genocide? Can you start moving towards... I support a genocide and you're getting arrested. I'm supporting a genocide and I'm not getting arrested. She is protesting against a genocide. She is getting arrested. I'm here to defend our jury's Palestine action process to see what...
Oh my God. That's crazy. That's actually a very interesting approach. I mean, it does genuinely show how fucking stupid that is. Stop saying British Hasan. Okay, calm down, everybody. Not every dude with fucking a red beard, brown hair, and you know, glasses is me, okay?
will and won't get you arrested in Britain today. I'm supporting the killing of babies and innocent men and innocent women. I'm supporting the war crimes of Netanyahu, and I'm wondering if you'll arrest me.
No, you've got freedom of expression, freedom of speech. That's all I've got to say.
So fantastic, isn't it, that I can stand here openly supporting a genocide and I won't get arrested? The police are so nice to people that support genocide. You're protesting against a genocide, yes?
Yes.
Well, you're doing it all wrong because you're going to get arrested.
Okay.
So I'm against the genocide. They're going to arrest me. You've been walking around telling the police you support genocide, you support the killing of Palestinian women and children, and they're not arresting you.
I can walk completely free.
It's ridiculous.
I'm supporting the Israeli government and supporting a genocide, and I'm not getting arrested, but you're getting arrested. I support the bombing of hospitals. I support the enforced starvation of Palestinians. I'm not getting arrested.
You said that right in front of them, and they didn't give it.
But you're okay for me openly to say that I support a genocide?
You've got a freedom of speech, right to say what you want.
I'm a peaceful protester, classed as a terrorist when I'm not a terrorist, but they will arrest people like us who are standing up to them.
Let me come clean. I don't actually support the Israeli government. How could you support the Israeli government considering what's happening in Gaza right now? If we care about our human rights, we must defend our right to protest against genocide.
That's crazy. But it's true. Yeah. In the UK, you can say every day that you support Israel doing a genocide. You can say you want more of Israel's genocide. You love that Israel's doing a genocide. As a matter of fact, many people do it. People in the parliament do it. But if you say Israel is committing a genocide and you hate that and that you oppose it, you can go to jail. What a strange world we live in, man. I wonder why that's the case. Well, obviously, the reason why that's the case is because the British government is continuing Israel's genocide. The British government is allowing Israel to commit a genocide. The British government is offering material support to Israel as it is committing a genocide. That's why. Yeah, this is a sitting congressperson, Representative Hank Johnson, who apparently says some insane shit. Hamas said it had agreed to release all the Israeli hostages, alive or dead, under the terms of President Trump's proposed Gaza peace plan. Representative Hank Johnson says, I am gratified that Hamas has agreed to release the hostages. Hamas is responsible for the ongoing genocide being undertaken by the state of Israel. What? I'm sorry. You recognize that Israel is doing a genocide, but you also still think it's Hamas's fault that Israel's doing a genocide? Okay, this, Jay Mershon, sometimes you fucking spam links and it gets annoying, but you were right to send this one. You were right to say this is a new thing that you haven't encountered yet. Because I've encountered people who say Israel's not committing a genocide. I've encountered people who say Israel's committing a genocide, but that's actually good, right? Like, you know, because they deserve it. I have, however, never encountered a person that has said Israel is committing a genocide and it's bad, but it's a genocide because of Hamas. I've only heard other versions of this, like Israel's doing war crimes and a genocide, but it's a good thing because Palestinians deserve it because of Hamas. This guy is saying Israel's committing a genocide and it's bad, but it's because of Hamas that Israel is committing a genocide. I have never heard that before. Someone said you had a podcast with a person like that. Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God, you're right. This is the Ethan Klein position. Oh my God, you're right. You're not wrong. Because it's a disingenuous one that I never even actually thought about it like that. That's true. Low key, not wrong. And I call on Trump administration to force a stop to that atrocity and to prevent Israel from annexing the West Bank. Progress can be made towards a peace agreement that includes the establishment of homeland for Palestinians. Wow. Brilliant fucking take. I've never heard the stop hitting yourself. Brilliant take. Stop hitting yourself. But this time it's about genocide. Hamas is responsible for the ongoing genocide by being undertaken by the state of Israel is such a wild thing to say. Clintonian triangulation is strange because it's such an unusual triangulation. The normal play is to ignore that it's a genocide and give platitudes about the need for aid or whatever. This acknowledges the state of Israel is carrying out the genocide, but then hedges by saying Hamas forced them to do it. Incredible. It's incredible because it just doesn't make sense. Because it's such an insane thing to say. Which is why, like, when Ethan made this exact same claim, we just didn't factor that he was being sincere about the recognition of Israel doing a genocide. Because you can't recognize a state or an entity doing a fucking genocide and then simultaneously say it's the victim's fault. Like, that doesn't make sense at all. Unless you think Israel's doing a genocide and it's a good thing. You know what I mean? It is a totally incoherent thing to state. Okay. We got the Kristi Noem shit. We already covered Greta Thunberg chatters who keep asking. It's also Asman's position. They deserve it because it's baked into their laws. I mean, his position is irrelevant. Most insane headline you will ever read. Republican candidate in Virginia caught in Tumblr Nazi porn scandal. Why is that the most insane headline I'll ever read? What? Oh my God. Another. Is it that insane? I mean, this literally happened in North Carolina. And what was even crazier was that the dude was black. This is not an insane headline. This is just canon for the Republican Party at this point. Like, what's next? You're going to tell me that there was another pedophile? There was another high-ranking Republican outed as a pedophile? That's not, I don't know. I don't think that's like that insane at this point. Is it really? Is it insane? I guess the strangest part about it is the medium. Tumblr is such an odd place to be procuring pornography as like a 50-plus-year-old. Yeah, I think this guy, if he bravely stays in the race, he could even win. Who knows? Anyway, let's look at the pro-Palestinian protests erupting worldwide after the flotilla was intercepted by Israel.
Came to protest against the...
I will say the interesting thing about the Italian protests have been the age. The age is represented in the Italian protests. Like, you look at the Palestine protests in France, like, it's mostly young people. But the Italian one is everybody. Partially because it's like... partially because it's a general strike. But it is kind of cool to see, like, how many older people participating in these fucking protests.
Genocide in Gaza, and to support the global Sumud flotilla that came and was arrested yesterday. I also came to support all the movement to impact sanctions on Israel to stop what's happening in Gaza right now, but also to stop what's happening in the West Bank and to support the Palestinians and to help free Palestinians from ongoing ethnic...
Ci sia gente che stia morendo sotto le bombe. Noi non lo quiero che vengano gli sacri.
Que ha tenido el suficiente coraje de dejar todo lo que tiene en sus familias.
Bro, what's crazy about the Italian protest, by the way? A fucking police union joined the protests, I heard. A fucking police union joined the fuck Israel protest, bro. Are you joking? That is fucking insane. A police union also participated in the general strike. Guys, I don't think you understand. Like, this isn't on some fuck cop shit, okay? The reason why this is significant is because police are not supposed to strike against... police are not supposed to strike alongside striking workers. Their job, literally, definitionally, is to fight against striking workers, okay? That is their most consequential, most important aspect of their job. That is why they have so much power, because they protect capital. And they're supposed to squash any sort of discontent and disruption. So for them to also joining on a general strike is very strange.
Vive para ir a ayudar a esa gente. Nosotros como población y gente que podemos dar nuestra voz en las calles a decirles que
I know my shirt says rooted in Arabic. I know.
estamos con ellos.
Também, e principalmente por conta do sequestro da flotilha, medicamentos, anestésia, né, leite para as crianças, e eles foram sequestrados e
Let Gaza live. Stop the bombs. Stop the bombs. The bombs need to stop. They can't. All these experts keep saying we're running out of bombs. How many trillions of dollars are we in debt? Look at our people living on the streets in America so we can bomb and kill other people. That's ridiculous and sickening. That's why I'm here. I'm not Palestinian, not Arab. I'm just an American that believes what's right is right and that good should prevail.
Garda pepper sprayed pro-Palestine protesters today when they try to block off the port to prevent Israeli goods from entering Ireland. Ugh, yeah. I mean, look, this is important, okay? Mass mobilization is very important because it gives others the confidence to also go out to the streets. And it's also important because, like, there are far too many of us as opposed to how many of them exist, okay? There are more of us than there are of them. It's that simple. There are more anti-genocide people than there are pro-genocide people. They can't arrest every single person. They just can't. They can't do that. No matter how hard they tried. That's why the Palestine Action protests in the UK are also very important. AIPAC candidate turning out the crowds in Michigan too. Wait, what? AIPAC candidate? Dem establishment and AIPAC's preferred candidate for Michigan Senate speaking before two people. Oh my God. This is Dr. Abdul Sayed. Dr. Abdul Sayed's major op. The one person standing is a tracker. Yikes, please tell me that was 30 minutes before the showtime. Well, I'll tell you this. She's on stage and it's not a sound check. This is the one that Senate Dems are going to fundraise for in the middle of the shutdown. Yeah. They do not want our boy Abdul to take this slot. Okay. Big protest in LA for immigration and now one outside of Israeli consulate. Lots of movement in Los Angeles this week. Damn. I leave LA for 1 second and y'all decide to mobilize. DSCC chair Kirsten Gillibrand is hosting a Tuscan European-style Napa retreat with spa treatments, a wine cave tour, and a dinner featuring Michigan Senate candidate Haley Stevens, likely scheduled right in the middle of a government shutdown that threatens jobs of thousands of fucking workers. Oh my God. That's who she's fundraising for. Haley fucking Stevens. Haley Stevens. A random Zionist is going to say you're advocating for a mass mobilization and you're a terrorist. I don't give a shit. People say that all the time. They can suck my dick. Democrats are so busted, bro. They do not want to win. They want to keep things going. They just want to make sure that they still have Zionists that are in charge of the party. They do not care about democracy. They will throw it away. Hi, quick message from Portland. Could you please ask the helicopter that keeps flying in circles over my house at 2 a.m. to stop so I can sleep? Okay, you got it. I'll give a call to the Portland Commie Antifa police force. I just, like, who is this for, man? I mean, Israel. It's for Israel. That's who this is for. This is just for Israel. What time are you starting stream tomorrow? Tomorrow's stream is going to start very early for LA time. It is going to start, tomorrow's stream for GP3 is going to start at, I think, 3 a.m. LA time. Or it may be, wait, 3 a.m. LA time? Yeah, I'm pretty sure 3 a.m. LA time. And it's going to go on from 3 a.m. LA time until a little bit after 7 p.m. LA time. So it's going to be from 3 a.m. all the way to, yeah, we're going to start with the qualifiers, which are starting at 12:30 French time. Yeah. 12:30 French time is when the qualifiers start. And the last race ends, like the race ends and the podium thing starts at 7 p.m. So if you're on the East Coast, you're lucked out. You wake up early, 6 a.m., you can watch. The American team is Ludwig and Michael Reeves. No, it ends at 7 p.m. French time, which is, I think, 10 a.m. It is the exact opposite time that I normally stream at. Like, straight up, the exact opposite times. It's the times that I don't stream is the time that I will be streaming at. Where do we watch? On this broadcast. There's an actual Formula 1 race on tomorrow. There's also a Formula 4 race that will be broadcasted on this channel. This Formula 4 race will have some content creators that you know and some content creators that you will get to know. Some French content creators, some Spanish content creators, and also Ludwig and Michael Reeves. The Spanish-speaking broadcast will be hosted on eBay's channel. The French-speaking broadcast will be hosted on Squeezy's channel, and the English-speaking broadcast will be hosted on my channel and Pokemon's channel. I will be commentating, despite the fact that I am not exactly the most knowledgeable on racing. Alongside Pokemon, we'll have other guests on as well. The Yard's very own Slime and Nick will be on as roaming guest hosts. And we will have some surprise guests on the broadcast as well, including French content creators like Etoile and numerous others. Did you exclude Aiden because he's bisexual? No, I excluded Aiden because he's my op. As he has turned to political commentary himself, he has become my enemy. And also because he's bisexual, and therefore obviously also my enemy for that reason, because I am a foe to the LGBTQ community. Are you going to be streaming on Monday? I guess you need time to go back to us. Yes, I will be streaming on Monday. However, that is, of course, if I don't get fucking arrested upon my return to the United States of America.
They answered the call of the unions, gathering at Rome's central station. Students, workers, and ordinary Italians joining a nationwide general strike to protest Israel's interception of the Gaza Aid Flotilla. 40 Italians were on board, including opposition MPs. But for people here, solidarity stretches past national lines.
Perché è importante per lei partecipare allo sciopero?
I am here to denounce the shameless genocide in Gaza, which didn't start just 2 years ago, but 70 years ago. This strike shows how Italian workers are not indifferent to what is going on in Palestine.
It is an important event for Palestinian people. They should have the solidarity of Italian people even more when our government, instead, only shows complicity with the Israeli state.
Never seen this many people gathered all together for the same cause in Italy in, I believe, over 20 years. It hasn't happened, and we are seeing some change. We're pressuring the government, and they're making small steps and small improvements, and they mean a lot.
The strike affected transport, education, and healthcare, with only essential services running. The youngest participants taking a day off school. And as the protest filed past government buildings through the streets of central Rome, it spilled beyond the...
Dude, why would you be arrested? No reason to be. Dog, last time I traveled to France and came back, I got detained. And the federal government had not tried to make being an anti-fascist a designated terrorist category at that point. Okay? Things have gotten literally worse since then. But yes, I am talking to lawyers for help.
Boundaries of the city, stopping traffic.
The protest march has reached Rome's Ring Road, which encircles the Italian capital. And you see over there, that is the entrance to the motorway, which has also been blocked. And even though Friday's general strike had not been officially authorized, we've seen police let people file past them and their vans.
Similar demonstrations took place in Bologna, Naples, and other cities. The anger aimed not only at Israel, but also at Giorgia Meloni's right-wing government, which protesters accuse of being complicit in Israel's war in Gaza, a war that people here say they will not stop.
Wait, I just joined. What are lawyers for? Just a contingency plan for if I do get detained, but this time for even longer than I did last time.
Milena Veselinovic, Al Jazeera, Rome.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe.
Athletic Bilbao invites Palestinian refugees to pitch in tribute for Gaza.